You're listening to Learning Leaders Spotlight, interviews with corporate L&D leaders. On each episode, we sit down with key industry experts to discover more about what's happening in the world of learning and development, from current trends and insights to the most valuable lessons learned along the way. Join us for a fresh perspective on all things training and the best direction forward. Here's your host, Leanne Langford.
Hi, welcome to Learning Leaders Spotlight, the podcast where we interview the learning leaders of today to help the learning leaders of tomorrow. I'm your host, Leanne Langford. I am the president of Training Pros. Training Pros is a learning and development contract staffing company where we like to say, if you have more projects than people, let us find you the right consultant to get your project started with confidence. I'm excited about my guest today. It's somebody I have done a lot of volunteer work with over the years, and we've known each other quite a while. It's Robert Panetti. He's the Revenue Enablement Program Manager at Avetta. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you, Leanne. I'm really happy to be here.
Great. So, as I said, you and I have known each other a really long time.
It goes back.
It really goes back. So we both volunteered quite a bit with the local ATD chapter here in Atlanta.
Yeah. Good times, ATD Atlanta.
Yes, it's a thrill to finally get him on the podcast. I think I started asking him a year and a half ago, and I finally got it going. So Robert, can you share with our audience a 60 seconds overview of who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I am Robert Panetti. My title is Revenue Enablement Program Manager, but essentially I do sales, training, and enablement. So I work for a software company called Avetta, and they are an all-in-one contractor risk management platform where companies can manage all their suppliers or contractors in one place and make sure they're all safety compliant or environmental compliant or whatever other standards that company might want to make sure are covered by all the people that are working for them. So I am on the revenue enablement team, and my main focus is on onboarding. So we are a growing company, and we are hiring lots of folks, and I'm with the sales leadership to put together programs to turn outsiders into insiders and help them get up to speed quickly.
That sounds very exciting. The most exciting part to me, made my ears perk up, is you're doing a lot of hiring. It must be a fun thing to be doing right now.
Yeah, it is. We're definitely in a growth spurt at this company, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Wow, that's great. So you've been in learning and development a long time like me. What was it about learning and development that first attracted you to the field?
I've always been fascinated by human behavior and why people do what they do, and helping people do things better. I don't believe there's one right way to do something, but often there's a better way than you might be doing it now. And helping people succeed and improve in whatever their chosen profession is something I've always kind of been fascinated with and attracted to.
Oh, well, that's good. So how did you get into the field to begin with?
I got pitched by the instructional design program director at Florida State. I was an undergrad psychology student about to graduate, and they said, "Hey, if you come study instructional design, you could get a job." And that was very exciting for me at the time because I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay and get my PhD or whatever. But the instructional systems program at Florida State was a real game changer for me career-wise. It opened so many doors and expanded so many horizons for me. Cannot speak highly enough of the program there and the people there and the network and everything. And go Knowles.
That is a top-notch program. I've recommended it to many people over the years. So good for you getting to attend that school. So what are the most impactful changes you've seen in learning and development in the last few years?
Absolutely, AI has had the most impact, for better and for worse, on our industry as well as everything else. And what I'm seeing is the challenge now is not developing content and programs and solutions. It's curating the AI slop and making sure everything is of a certain quality that actually delivers a learning experience. AI makes content cheap. Words are cheap. I could say to Copilot, hey, give me 5 paragraphs on the go-to-market strategy of this company and send them to the website. And it'll come back with 5 paragraphs of the go-to-market strategy for that company. Now, will it be entirely 100% accurate? Probably not. Will it be cliched and redundant? And some of it could be just a whole hallucination because AI needed 5 paragraphs and didn't have enough source content? Possibly. So I think our role is evolving quickly to become curators and kind of moderators of AI. And it's happening on both sides because I've worked with clients that are using AI to generate source materials to give to me to train their people on how to do things. So if they're using AI to create source material and I'm using AI to create learning, does a human at the end of this ever benefits? I don't know. That's something that I think is really the challenge is kind of curating through all of the information and finding good interactions, aha experiences, things that really help people be more knowledgeable, be more effective, and do their jobs better. I think that curation is a big part of it because you don't have to start with a blank slate anymore, but you certainly have to sculpt what you're given by AI into something that'll actually help a human being learn.
Yeah, you make a lot of good points. I mean, you assume that what the SME is handing you as content is something they have vetted, but you can't assume that anymore.
No, you can't. You can't. This PowerPoint could have been almost entirely created by AI. And on one hand, that's exciting because it makes everyone's life easier. But a human being really has to look at it and ask some good questions about whether or not this is entirely accurate. Are we talking about this the right way? Could we be more concise? Is a big one. Because like I said, words are really cheap with AI and they will take, 3 paragraphs to explain something that could have been explained in one. And it's really a focus on quality over quantity that we need to do with AI because there's a lot of redundancies, there's a lot of cliches, and you really got to spend some time kind of culling all that out. Otherwise, you're really doing a disservice to the poor learner out there who actually has to sit through all of this.
Yeah, that's also another good point. I did have to chat with one of my employees who was trying to create training for my team, and I'm like, time is very valuable here.
Right.
Any time away from work is very costly. So let's bring it.
So one of the things that attracted me to working in the sales space, sales enablement, sales training, is it's very quantifiable. And a lot of time does not necessarily equal more money. So salespeople are really good kind of customers of learning because they sell for a living and they recognize nonsense pretty quickly. So you've got to deliver some relevant, some concise training for them to really stand up and pay attention. So it's a good kind of litmus test having an audience like that.
It is, yeah. So salespeople are the good salespeople are time stingy.
Only the good ones. Only the good ones.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of them who will sit through every kind of training there is, but they're probably not using very much.
I mean, along those lines, I've always believed in a minimum viable dose when it comes to training. I don't want people to have to sit through a day-long course if a 30-minute e-learning would suffice. I don't want people to sit through a 30-minute e-learning if a one-page PDF would suffice. It's really about enabling people to perform the behaviors that you've identified and do them at a certain level under certain circumstances. And if you can get them there with less, to me, that's a more powerful solution. That's a more valuable solution. Now, it's hard to sell that to clients sometimes who want to see volume. They want to see, I want a 4-hour webinar on whatever. And then you have to explain to them that a 4-hour webinar is like getting a root canal. You don't want to put anybody through that. And can we be more concise? And that's kind of how I see the role really evolving is kind of separating the wheat from the chaff and finding the important content to really make sure people understand.
So where do you see the L&D space going in the next 5 years? What do you think it's going to be like?
Well, it's interesting. It's kind of what we're already talking about is AI is going to get better and better. And I can see lots of training becoming performance support with AI. You have AI now where you can create a bot and you can essentially turn them into an SME for a certain role. And you can ask that SME questions. Like for sales, we have a lot of kind of canned objection handling responses and things to say in certain situations. And you give them to a salesperson so they can see, like at a base level, this is what you're supposed to say. Now, they're human beings talking to human beings. So you want them to make it their own. You want them to be able to put it in their tone of voice. But we're actually working on a bot right now that is like an objection handling vending machine where you can put in the industry, you can put in the level of the person that you're speaking to. You know, are they a vice president? Are they an individual contributor? Who is this person? Are they the economic buyer? And you can get suggested responses to objections that you put in. And I don't think it would be something somebody could actually use live on the phone, but it certainly would be a good way to kind of rapid fire train people on the canned stuff so they can begin to get the basics. So a lot of what I do is an onboarding. So a lot of this is very new. We have new people coming in and it's a good thing because they're eager. They want to get up to speed quickly and they want to prove their worth. But it's also a good thing because it's definitely a learning solution. It's not something that they've done before. They need to learn this stuff. And sometimes just learning the basic kind of rote memorization stuff is the first step towards being fluent in something. So when you understand these objections come up, this is how I should handle that. With practice, that'll turn into a much more fluid kind of expert type of conversation.
That sounds amazing. It sounds like it would be really helpful for the new salesperson or somebody knows sales but new to your company, anything like that. Yep.
Yeah, understanding value prompts, being able to customize it for the industry, for the person you're talking to, and really understand buyer pain points is always the big kind of challenge. And this kind of gives them a quick way to see the right way to do things.
You know, that's makes my mind spin, and I've definitely heard other leaders talk about it, but you brought it to a real, very specific way to use it.
Yeah, I mean, we got to be tangible. I think you don't have anything until you have something. That was a mentor of mine used to say when he was explaining the power of PowerPoint, of a well-crafted PowerPoint. It's like, until you put it into some slides and can explain it in detail, you don't have anything. So to make this stuff tangible and put in front of people in a way that they can understand, that's our role. Kind of translating the dense text out there and the endless videos into something that can help people do better at whatever their chosen profession is. That's our role.
So let's shift gears a little bit off of AI.
Sure.
Who's been your most influential professional mentor?
I'm lucky to have some really good mentors over the years. It took a bit. I'm glad you gave me that question in advance because I had to think about, who would I say the most? I've got two. I whittled it down to two. Doug Dell was my boss at NCR. And he was a very knowledgeable leader, and he wasn't like fighting for the spotlight with his people. He let people shine and give you some space to actually do some good work. And I learned a lot from him. I learned that sometimes you got to meet people where they are, and you can't always score a touchdown. Sometimes advancing the ball is enough. I used to get frustrated with people that didn't have the same kind of background that I had and had to be explained all the basics, and still wouldn't understand things at the level that I wanted them to understand because I wanted them to be like super ninjas at whatever their profession was. This is like the instructional design fantasy. I want to turn, you want the chair from the Matrix that inserts the information in someone's head and they get up and they can do Kung Fu. And he helped me understand that's the movies. Humans don't work like that. And sometimes, advancing the ball and getting people a little closer to the goal is enough.
Yeah, Doug is a great mentor for you to have had. I remember he did a lot of volunteer work with ATD as well.
Yes, yeah. He was chairman for a while. I think he transformed the chapter. He's the guy that originally brought me in and really did some great work. He's semi-retired now. He probably wants to be more retired than he is. But
yeah, he was an advisor when I was on the executive board, and I remember him. He would come to our board meetings and he would be very quiet, and then he would just say something really impactful after we'd had like a 5-minute argument, and he would just say something change the whole discussion.
And he was listening the whole time and, trying to figure out what he was going to say. Yeah. Doug's super sharp. The other person I would credit as an excellent mentor is Nicole Lee. She was one of my managers when I was with Slalom Consulting, and really helped me hone kind of my people skills, dealing with clients, understand the question behind the question, managing conflict and tough kind of meetings. I learned an incredible amount from her. She was my manager at Slalom.
And so I don't know her, but yeah, she sounds like a good manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's great. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of mentoring. I think that all of us should pay it back once we reach leadership levels. So let's shift gears again. What do you think is the most important skill right now in the world in the US for us to have?
It's AI. It's working with AI and kind of not letting it take over everything to the detriment of our learners. I mean, I think we've got to represent and be an advocate for the human beings that actually have to consume training, and make sure we're good stewards of their time and their energy, and we're making sure that they're getting the things that they need and not just being overwhelmed with things. AI is great at kind of checklists and checking the boxes. And if I'm getting source material from an SME, that's basically a series of bulleted lists, and then I'm giving them back a bunch of bulleted lists, and then we're sticking a bunch of bulleted lists in front of the learner. There's no kind of context, there's no story, there's no relevancy, and it's harder for people to understand. It takes up a lot of time and space, and it sure looks great. But is it really effective? Does it help people do the things they need to do to succeed? And really, that's a big focus of mine.
Okay, well, there's a lot of people who are not honing that skill right now, so they need to get busy.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be it's strange because in the back of a lot of people's minds is, am I like training my replacement here with this AI bot? And I don't think you are, at least not yet. At least I hope not. But I think you've got to walk the line of engaging with this technology and getting the most you can out of it, and still being the kind of having the final say and taking the time to do a thorough QA and make sure you're still creating learning experiences that matter. Because at the end of the day, we make smarter and more capable human beings. And as long as that is a product that is valuable, I think we're going to have good job security. But AI can help turbocharge that and really help you produce a lot more stuff. Making sure that it's quality stuff and it's actually doing what it's supposed to do. It becomes the challenge, I think.
Yeah, and my thought on that, producing a lot more stuff, is that I feel as though there will be a higher demand for stuff if we can produce more stuff.
Yeah.
So only we're going to run out of work.
Yeah, expectations going up. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so what is your favorite source for industry news and information?
I follow a couple of people, and I have for years, that are at the e-learning guild. Or actually, Dave Kelly just left the e-learning guild, but Dave Kelly and Jane Bozarth and the rest of the e-learning guild folks are super sharp and so focused on uncovering the latest and greatest technologies and tools and techniques. I've followed them for years. I've been lucky enough to meet them at conferences. They're great. They're tremendous people. And I used to tell people that David Kelly is your kind of your cheat code for staying up on industry stuff, because he curates lists of all this stuff from other people that are at the forefront. So if you follow Dave, you'll get a dozen other people that you might want to consider following, because he's constantly harvesting this information and servicing it for other people. So highly recommend following Jane and Dave. Mark Ehlert, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Mark. He's an interesting person to watch because he's at the forefront of technology. He worked for Amazon for a number of years. I'm not sure where he is now, but I follow him on LinkedIn, and he's an anthropologist. So he came into the learning space with kind of a unique background on culture and people and how they learn. And he's always at the forefront of technology and how humans are benefiting from it. So he's got a lot of interesting stuff too.
Two great pieces. So David Kelly, I follow his newsletter on LinkedIn, his LinkedIn newsletter, and I went and saw him many times at the Learning Guild's Learning Leader thing. But this year, of course, he wasn't there. Jane Bonarth was taking his spot. So
Yeah,
interesting.
Jane's great. And she'll play the ukulele for you.
She didn't play it for me, but yeah,
No?
she
Okay.
definitely
Yeah.
facilitated some sessions and panels and things like that. And believe it or not, I went to college with Mark Oler.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Small world. Small world.
was-
Wow.
He was dating one of my sorority sisters who he's now married to.
Oh my gosh. I had no idea.
Small world. Yeah, that was undergrad. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. What is one book that everyone wanting to move into L&D leadership should read?
Badass, Making Your Users Awesome by Kathy Sierra. It's kind of a deep cut. You don't hear anything from Kathy anymore. She retired. But for 5-10 years in the early 2000s, she was a force of nature when it came to training and enabling computer developers. I mean, programmers and things like this. And she had a couple of influential books, but it was all kind of came together. She had a very influential blog, and Badass, Making Users Awesome is really the best book I've read that kind of crystallizes what we do as learning professionals. I always kind of think of myself as Yoda. I'm not Luke Skywalker. I'm not going to take the lightsaber and go slay the bad guy and get the princess or whatever the great reward is. I'm the guy behind the scenes kind of facilitating that and giving people what they need and explaining things and helping those folks go on to bigger and better things. So if you think about the hero's journey, that mentor role is what I see learning professionals as. And you open people's eyes to possibilities and enable them to do more and better at their chosen profession and often exceed their own expectations. And that's the other question about, why do you do what you do? That's why I do what I do. The difference I can make in people's lives. And I think as a learning professional, that's the value we add. We take someone that may be stumbling and trying to figure out how all this stuff fits together and add some context and some stories and a couple of activities, and they come away being able to do better at whatever they were trying to do.
Oh, well, that is amazing. That's the first time anyone's recommended that book. So you
No,
win a
good.
prize, I
Good,
think.
good. It's not, you don't see it out there on the lists of, top 10 books every instructional designer should read. Kathy retired. I believe she breeds horses now. But she kind of had a bad interaction in social media with some really nasty people and just kind of said, I don't need this, and left. But that book is tremendous, and I highly recommend it. Badass, Making Users Awesome.
I'll have to look it up. I'm a big Audible listener.
Yeah, me too. All right.
Well, I do it when I'm walking, but it's a nice
Okay.
way to digest a book without having to just sit and read. So, gosh, Robert, it has been so great catching up with you here on the podcast.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you so much for being our guest. So as my thank you to you, I don't know if you know this, but Training Pros has a charity where we plant trees in the world. And so as my thank you to you, we're going to plant 5 trees in your name, and provide those more trees to the world, all thanks to you being a guest on our show.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
So that's it for this week's episode of Learning Leader Spotlight. We hope you tune in again next week to hear from another learning leader from a different industry.
Thanks for joining us for the latest episode of Learning Leader Spotlight, interviews with corporate L&D leaders. You'll find links in the show notes to any resources mentioned on today's show. If you're enjoying our podcast, please subscribe so you never miss an episode and leave us a 5-star review.